Do 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 do. Hey, what is up? Welcome to another edition of Wheel of Albums. Along with my brother Adam and our friend Jack, I am Justin. What we do here on Wheel of Albums is we spin a wheel of the 1001 albums you must hear before you die. We'll listen to that album for a few times during the week. We'll get back to you and let you know if we think it's an album you must hear before you die. This week I spun the wheel. I got the Manchester outfit New Order. Going to be going to the Hall of Fame here soon. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. And their 1985 album, Low Life. Adam, what is your familiarity with New Order?
I don't know if I've ever given a New Order album a proper listen other than 1987's Substance, so I'm looking forward to diving a little deeper into the New Order catalog and seeing what they have to offer.
I started listening to New Order late high school. Is whenever I became aware of them. True Faith, that video on MTV, songs from Technique, and then into college with the album Republic and the great song Regret. So I am aware of a lot of stuff on Low Life because I have a Greatest Hits album and I have heard Substance as well. I want to say I've listened to this a couple times before. Don't remember it except thinking it was a very short album. That was my initial reaction, but I was ready to dive in a little bit deeper and find out what all the hubbub is about Low Life. Jack, when this was spun, Adam responded, "Ooh, a little New Order will be nice." And your response was 2 words. Will it? We're so successful now. We've sent Jack out on location at the beach. Jack.
I want to remind you I am coming at you from the beach, and I am in the loving memory of John Jack Cleveland's seat area at the beach. My initial reaction was that I wasn't going to look forward to this. But recently, there was a showing of Control at the Weirton Plaza Theater. I did not watch it. I was told it was good, but somebody else that arrived late told me that they liked New Order better than Joy Division. I became a little more intrigued by this week's spin of the wheel.
Okay, so Low Life, sort of a place where New Order becomes more of a dance outfit, but yet they're still retaining some rock all at the same time. Is this more of a dance album? Is it more of a rock album? Do they do a good job fusing the two? What do you guys think?
I prefer the more rockier type songs, more Cure-ish or whatever it is. They may be older than the Cure. Less synthesizer, quick tempo dance beats for me. But this is a nice mix and a really nice transition to let you know that they did come out of that cocoon, metamorphosize.
Do we go from a lowly caterpillar that was Joy Division to a beautiful butterfly that's New Order, bright and full of life? I think they perfectly encapsulate in just a couple albums what they were. It would have been interesting to see what they would have transitioned to if Ian Curtis would have kind of lived. You know, would they have been able to have fun or not? And it feels like with Low Life, they're starting to maybe enjoy making music and having a little bit of fun with it.
For me, I'm most familiar with The Perfect Kiss off of Low Life. And it's probably my favorite song on this album. It's got all their check marks, sweet synths. You got a driving drum machine along with some drum beats added in by Stephen Morris. You got Peter Hook's bass that acts like a lead guitar. The Perfect Kiss might be the perfect example of a New Order song, 1985 onward.
If you go to 2 minutes and 40 seconds on The Perfect Kiss, there might be one of the best synth solos ever recorded. Like, I just kept wanting to go back to that specific point in the song because they just throw down on the synths and it just feels like they had emerged from the cocoon and it was like, boom, this is the new band as far as that goes. They have fun on the last, 2 minutes of that song.
I never heard any of these songs, I don't believe. Maybe I've seen the name The Perfect Kiss, but that's it.
Love Vigilantes, The Perfect Kiss, and Subculture are the 3 songs that I'm most familiar with. What it was going to come down to is, and this is how we have to judge some of these albums. Are like the other album tracks good enough to hold this thing up and be prime Robert Dimery? Adam, what favorites did you have on Low Life?
I'm going to say that the favorite for now of that trio is Subculture.
Well played.
Subculture and then Face Up, the final 2 songs on the album. They're very catchy, very synthy, very dark. A tune at the same time that's danceable too, right?
I'm going to focus in real quick on Face Up. It starts off dark and dreary, and it feels like it's going to be like maybe a post-punk dirge. But then the band changes the key of the song, and it becomes happier. I'm sure Bernard Sumner is like, because I have this refrain here. It says, I cannot bear the thought of you. I cannot bear the thought of you. Just that chorus, that kind of mean-spirited against this shiny, happy song. It becomes kind of ridiculous. But I like Face Up.
So it's like if you drank too much coffee and you were strapped to one of those large exercise stability balls that keep you wanting to bounce up and down on, you want to try and contain yourself, but it's just so fun to bounce a little.
Listeners, let that sink in for a minute. Jack, what was your favorite song on here?
Sunrise. Got that sweet Peter Hook bass at the beginning, and as a matter of fact, I am, again, broadcasting to you from Vero Beach. Funny enough, as we had texted earlier, somebody did walk past and say, oh yeah, that's that bass, when I was listening to Sunrise out loud. That's my number one on this record.
I think we're going to have to see if Mike flags are in the budget with the wheel of albums so people walking by can see our logo. Also, I agree with you with Sunrise. That is the most left field rocking song New Order has ever done, and I loved it too.
With Sunrise, it surprised me how much they sounded like The Cure. It's a way more rocking tune with a deeper meaning. The song's about, I guess, a tense, anguished confrontation with God or a distant, silent authority figure. And you get lines like the opening line, I've been waiting to hear your voice for too long now. One-way conversations do not work somehow.
And see, that will transition to my biggest surprise with Low Life, is how good Bernard Sumner's lyrics are on this album. And if not lyrics, theme-wise. I didn't know he was so good at writing so many good different themes. I just always thought he was the guy that sounded like he was doing not so great karaoke at the bar. And that's fine. That's part of New Order's charm. And Jay Masix with Dinosaur Jr. as well. Not knowing that Love Vigilantes, Bernard Sumner tried to summon up an American, a Yankee, if you will. Something from Vietnam, which I guess the only thing in the 80s I can think of with Vietnam right now is Bruce Springsteen and Born in the USA. Why that wasn't covered as much in the 80s, I have no idea. But Bernard Sumner was smart enough to try to put together a song with a brilliant plot to it as well. What'd you guys think of Love Vigilantes?
I didn't know Love Vigilantes was an anti-war song when I listened to it.
You don't really think Great Britain with Vietnam too much.
But I'm surprised that New Order put out a Vietnam song of any sort. Pleased that they did it. Would never guess on Jeopardy that they wrote a Vietnam song.
Adam, I could see if Dad was still alive enjoying Love Vigilantes.
Absolutely surprising. An 80s band from Great Britain would touch on this topic. Absolutely haunting twist to the end of the song that's left open to interpretation. If you dive deep enough into it, leaves you questioning, did the soldier actually die in Vietnam and comes back to his home as a ghost? Or did the soldier come home to find that his wife had committed suicide because she thought he died in Vietnam and found her on the floor with a note in her hand?
Yeah, Low Life. It's a little underrated, I think. A lot of attention's on power, corruption, and lies that came before this. And that's a good album. And Technique, which I own, which is a great house album. We're back to another transition album. Season 3 of Wheel of Albums. Real quick, do you guys think these guys deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? I'm going to vote yes.
They probably should not be, only because I don't know that they ever really even registered strongly in America.
I mean, to think that Joy Division by itself isn't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, or New Order for that matter, finally getting put in seems criminal in a way.
I think this is possibly more of a nod to their producer, Quincy Jones. He heard the Frogs in The Perfect Kiss and says, this I gotta bring to America. And he did.
Yeah, Joy Division should be inducted just for Unknown Pleasures alone.
And thank goodness he did, because I have now, even after the passing of Quincy Jones, and obviously Ian Curtis, have found out that there is, in fact, some goodness to be found after Joy Division.
And then when you add songs from the New Order front of Blue Monday and Bizarre Love Triangle and Age of Consent and the massive discography, and you listen to like Low Life, great album, such a huge influence on the new wave synth indie rock sound.
When we look at the ratings for Low Life, Adam gave it the highest rating with a 7.375. I was close behind with a 7.25. Jack with a 5 for an overall rating of 6.541. Our 3 favorite songs on Low Life by New Order. Sunrise took the top spot, then Love Vigilantes and The Perfect Kiss. Our least favorite song, and I would agree with This Time of Night scored the lowest with a score of 14 for Low Life.
Must you live face up and hear Low Life before you die? If you would have asked me before I listened to the record, I would have just said no and guessed that I was right. But, surprise, 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 Gomer Pyle. Yes, Low Life is, in fact, an album you must hear before you die. Just because I'm sure Robert Dimery's put Joy Division at least 1 or 2 albums on here. He's probably put more New Order albums on here. This one's important to hear the transition from the 2 bands. So yes, this is a album that you must hear before you die.
Low Life. This is nothing on the lower register. This was a very good album. I enjoyed Low Life a lot by New Order. I'd say it's in the same realm as The Color of Spring by Talk Talk and Porcupine by Echo and the Bunnymen that we had earlier this season as far as a transition album, but I think this album is better than both of those albums, and therefore I am going to go ahead and give it the green light. This is something you should hear before you die. I do hope that we get Power, Corruption, Lies, and Technique spin 3 times in a week to see how I feel about those too. Adam?
There's only one way to live a higher life in this world, and that is to make sure that you listen to Low Life before you die. I give it an absolute yes. I think it's a very enjoyable album, and while it may not be their most acclaimed album, I think it's worth listening to get to know New Order a little bit more. Low Life reminds me of another 1985 album, The Head on the Door, which has always been a favorite Cure album of mine, and it's one where it feels like the Cure kind of sheds and lets loose and has a little bit more fun, and I think Low Life fits the bill just the same for New Order. A shower that rinses the darkness of Joy Division off. You absolutely need to kind of listen to it and get your dance on and enjoy.
Hey, it's the first time you're listening? Why don't you hit that subscribe button on YouTube for a new episode every Monday, or almost every Monday. And then on Spotify, we try to do the same. Hit the follow, give us a rating, give us a comment. Let us know how you're doing. Adam, you got the next spin. Go for it.
Well, all right. The wheel has been spun, and it looks like it's time to grab a lime, a coconut, and a few bathrobes, Jack and Justin, as we venture into the kitchen to see what Harry Nilsson has whipped together on his 1971 acclaimed album, Nielsen Schmielsen.
For my brother Adam and our friend Jack, I am Justin. We hope you have a really good week. We'll see you the first day of June when we cover Harry Nilsson Schmielsen, next time on Wheel of Albums.
I put what I believe to be a windscreen on this microphone, but we'll find out, won't we? And then I feel bad for you, Justin, since you have to edit this with the wind whipping. And as a follow-up, of course, I just want to remind you I am coming at you from the beach, and I am in the loving memory of John Jack Cleveland seat area at the beach.